of Representatives, no, ang makakapigil lang ay Korte Suprema. Kung nakita ng Korte Suprema na may mali sa paraan ng proseso na ginawa sa House of Representatives.
Nasa linya po ng ating komunikasyon ngayong umaga si Attorney J.D. Hinlo, Deputy Secretary General po for Visayas ng PDP Laban. Attorney, may aga, Jade at Admar po muli ang inyong mga kasama. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Mayong aga, Jade and Admar, mayong aga sa Bilog na Pilipinas at sa SMNI.
Opo, Attorney, si Jade po ito. Dako tayo dito sa issue po ng impeachment. Marami pong nagsasabi o ilan po sa mga mambabatas nagsasabi na hindi lang dapat ma-impeach ang Vice Presidente kundi talagang matanggal sa kanyang public office, ma-disqualify na. Ano ho ba ang inyong masasabi dito?
Dadaan pa po, no, sa proseso ng House Plenary kung saan ang kailangan na boto is 106 votes ng mga congressmen, and as expected or presumed ng nakararami gaya ko, the House will be able to garner more than 106 votes. They will impeach the Vice President. But after that, kailangan pang dumaan ito sa trial sa Senado kung saan 2/3 votes ang kailangan to convict. 2/3 is 16 senators ang kailangan para makonvict si VP Sara. And good luck sa kanila kung kaya nilang umabot ng 16. Kasi sa tansya natin, sa personal, hindi mako-convict si VP Sara sa Senado.
Opo. Sa Kamara, tiyak na mai-impeach po siya doon kasi halos sabi nga ng ilang mambabatas nasa halos 200 na daw yung mga mambabatas na susuporta o boboto pabor sa impeachment ng pangalawang Pangulo. Attorney, gaano katotoo ito?
From the very start, the very reason, no, this is my analysis, the very reason why the Vice President did not, no, decide to participate in the hearing sa Justice Committee is the fact that she has presumed that kahit anong gawin niya na paliwanag sa House of Representatives, the numbers is already there to decide, prematurely decide against her, na prejudge na siya. So it is just but a good legal strategy on her part to wait to face the accusation in the Senate na siya namang nakalagay sa konstitusyon nga ang trial ng kanyang kaso ay sa Senado. So, she never gave, no, per my analysis, any doubt to her judgment that it is a useless exercise for her to lay down her evidence na para isabihin na wala siyang kasalanan sa mga akusasyon sa kanya habang nasa House of Representatives.
Opo. Pero kaya bang pigilan, harangan ng oposisyon, ng Duterte Bloc dyan sa Kamara, itong kanilang inaasahang botohan laban nga dito sa kay Vice President Sara Duterte?
Sa House of Representatives, no, ang makakapigil lang ay Korte Suprema. Kung nakita ng Korte Suprema na may mali sa paraan ng proseso na ginawa sa House of Representatives, for example, they acted as investigators instead of acting on the complaint filed by private individuals, no? They should have limited themselves to the complaint and the evidence attached to the complaint. But yung ginawa ng House of Representatives through the House Committee on Justice, sila yung naging investigador, trying to search for new evidence. There are those like me, like Attorney Torion, Attorney Bondok, Attorney Vic Rodriguez, who believes na the House, no, acted beyond what was allowed by the Constitution. That's why we filed a case na nasa Korte Suprema. And the VP herself filed a petition for certiorari herself. Now, wala tayong control kung aaksyonan ito ng Korte Suprema or hindi, gaya noong first impeachment complaint wherein the Supreme Court only intervened right after the first impeachment was already filed sa Senado. So it could happen to this second impeachment wherein may desisyon ang Korte Suprema anytime from today, before the plenary votes, or even after the plenary vote. So may sariling time frame ang Korte Suprema. But looking at things as it is, politically, we're expecting, especially lumalabas naman sa news, we are expecting that the House of Representatives will be able to get the 106 votes needed, out of the 318 members. So, nothing is new to the opposition.
Opo. Pero yung magiging boto ba ng mga kongresista kaugnay nga dito sa impeachment ng Vice President ay sa tingin po ninyo ay magbabase sa mga ebidensyang inilabas o dahil sa pressure, panggigipit po sa kanila, considering may mga narinig po tayo na ganun ang nangyayari sa loob?
Ang realidad is, the impeachment proceeding is not only legal, it also involves political consideration. That's the reality. It is not a criminal case. It's not even an administrative case. Because what happens in this impeachment will affect those that will decide on it and those that has a part on it. And they're thinking of their political future and also their own freedom. Yan yung wala tayong magawa. Sa ordinary case, like a criminal case, we could ask the judge to inhibit himself kung may conflict of interest. But dito, whatever is the result of the impeachment, merong kakampi kay VP Sara dahil gusto siyang maging presidente. Meron ring ayaw na ayaw kay VP Sara dahil natatakot sila na maging presidente by 2028. So, each decision of an individual is affected not only by the evidence presented, but also by their political leanings and their reality and their fear of imprisonment after 2028.
Opo. Kung sakaling lulusot nga ito dyan sa Kamara at umusa dyan sa Senado, Attorney, may desisyon po yung Korte Suprema tungkol nga doon sa Fort Worth. Gaano ho ba kabilis yun?
We have no control over the action of the Supreme Court. And I hope that the Supreme Court will decide at the earliest, just like sa kaso ni Tatay Digong sa pagpapadala sa kanya sa The Hague, sa ICC. Kung naging maaga ang desisyon ng Korte Suprema, may mga kontrobersya na kinakaharap natin ngayon na sana naiwasan. But again, discretion ng Korte Suprema na magbigay ng isang desisyon kung sa tingin nila nararapat na yung ebidensya o napapanahon na. But generally, bilang isang Pilipino, sana may mga malalaking kontrobersya, maiiwasan sana ang pagkahati-hati natin kung magdidesisyon ang Korte Suprema ng maaga. We have no control. Ang sa atin lang, habang hindi nakikialam ang Korte Suprema, the proceeding sa impeachment will continue. And I am expecting that the 106 votes will be achieved by those who are against the Vice President, whether they are voting because they really believe on the evidence or they are voting because for some other reason. So, I'm expecting na sa Senado na maghaharap. Tingnan mo si Vice President Sara. Nasaan siya ngayon? Namomblema ba siya? Nagde-depress ba siya? Nandito ba siya sa Pilipinas? Nandun siya sa tatay niya. Bumisita sa ICC sa The Netherlands. Malayo sa nangyayari dito sa House of Representatives. So, narinig naman natin yung kanyang sinabi niya, na sabi niya, it is God's will, no? Kung anong mangyayari sa atin, yung istorya ng tao ay depende sa kung ano ang plano ng Diyos sa kanya, no? So, kung ma-impeach siya, edi wala na. Matatanggap niya yun. Kung hindi siya ma-impeach, edi bukas raw, nandito pa rin siya. At meron tayong pag-asa, maraming yung mga supporters niya magkakaroon ng pag-asa na by 2028 babago ang pakikitunguhan ng ating bansang Pilipinas with a President Sara Duterte.
Po. Malinaw po ang sinasabi po ninyo, Attorney, na ang Korte Suprema lamang ang makakapigil po nitong impeachment proceeding dyan sa Senado. Kung sakali man na inendorso o ibinigay na po ng Kamara yung mga articles of impeachment na kanila pong naaprubahan, kung lulusot nga dyan sa Kamara, Attorney. So, ibig sabihin, kung magdidesisyon, kung sakali mang may desisyon na ang Korte Suprema ngayon, hindi po pwedeng uusad itong impeachment dyan sa Senado?
Depende sa klase ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema. Ginawa na ng Korte Suprema during the first impeachment proceeding, di ba? Dineclare ng Korte Suprema na violative of the Constitution yung proseso na ginamit ng House of Representatives at na invalidated yung kanilang complaint that was filed sa Senado. So nagawa na ng Korte Suprema last year. Pwede rin nilang gawin ulit, no? So mas maganda na gawin at the earliest ng Korte Suprema, but again, we have nothing to worry. The democratic process is running its own course. We hope that the Supreme Court will act on it at the earliest. Otherwise, we still have the Senate. The Senate will have to hear the evidence of the complainants of the House of Representatives acting like a prosecutor. And the Senate will also have to hear the side of VP Sara. She has lawyers to defend her. But the Senate also, by a mere vote of a majority, not two-thirds, can also decide to remand the case back to the House if it believes that the process in the House was violative of the Constitution. So, the Senate, they did it last time also, by majority vote only. Hindi na darating sa issue of conviction, but only the issue on whether the House follow the Constitution. If the senators believe na mali yung ginawa ng House, sila yung korte, di ibalik nila yung kaso sa House na ulitin yung proseso, or sabihin nila certain evidence like yung pakikialam sa record ng bangko ay illegal, di sabihin nila strike off the record. Yan rin yung power ng impeachment court, and that is the power of the senators sitting as impeachment judges. So, with the Senate, anything goes also, dahil they also have a separate rule to follow, and it will also depend sa number of senators deciding on certain issues.
Pwede po, Attorney. Yan po yung, pero ang kaibahan lang ngayon, iba po yung Senate President. Last time, si Senator Chis Escudero po yun, ang nangulo o naging Senate President, Attorney. Possible, same effect pa rin ba o magkakaiba na ngayon?
It is a numbers game pa rin, no? A simple majority can affect where the case will proceed, whether they will allow it to be set immediately or later, or do the process continuously. Depende yon. The Senate, the presiding officer, based on the Senate rules, is only a presiding officer. Anyone can force a vote. The majority will win on specific issues. So, they may agree on a particular issue, but sa next issue, they can divide the House. So, anything goes. The only thing na talagang set on stone is that to convict, they need two-thirds. They need 16 senators. Kaya kahit absent si Senator De La Rosa, his vote does not matter because 16 positive votes are needed. Right now, kung bibilangin natin sa minority bloc, may 5 solid na kaalyado si VP Sara. Sino sila? Senator Bato, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Bongo, Senator Robin Padilla, Senator Amy Marcos. 5 yan, solido. I don't expect any of them, no? By presumption, that of course, they have to sit as neutral judges. But by presumption, they will vote in favor of VP Sara. Who are the 4 others? We have Senator Cayetano, Senator Villanueva, Senator Escudero, and Senator Jinggoy. These are 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. With those 9 votes, the possibility of conviction is 0. Unless yung isa sa 4 babaliktad or hindi na i-consider based on the fact na miyembro siya ng minority. Pero kahit bumaliktad, meron naman tayong narinig. Senator J.B. Ejercito, sabi niya generally doesn't like the impeachment. Sabi niya sa news. But he could also change his mind once he is sitting as a judge. Yung isa, sa strategist naman, nag-iisip, Senator Loren Legarda, kasi yung anak, nagkiklaim na DDS. But Senator Loren Legarda is an ally of President Marcos. So, hindi natin rin alam yung boto ni Senator Legarda. At meron na rin tayong yung magkapatid na Villar. Senator Mark Villar at Senator Camille Villar. They are also friends of the VP, but meron rin sword of Damocles hanging in their head because of pending cases against them. There are senators also na hindi natin alam ang boto. Yung kapatid ni Senator Cayetano, si Senator Pia, kaalyado ni Pangulong Marcos, pero kapatid niya si Senator Cayetano. Hindi rin natin alam saan patutungo ang boto. So that's why if we talk about numbers, kung sa Senado ng pag-uusapan, the possibility of an acquittal to a conviction is much higher, but nothing is certain in this world, no? Because logically mananalo si VP sa Senado, but sabi nga ni VP, it is God's will. It is already written kung ano yung kanyang destiny, and the presidency is destiny. Pag nalusutan to ni VP Sara, lalaban na tayo na si VP Sara ang ating presidentiable by 2028. At baka sasabihin niya na kung sino ang kanyang napiling vice presidente at sasabihin niya na kung sino ang nasa isip niya na gusto niyang maging parte para sa Senate slate niya after this impeachment proceeding is over.
Opo. Attorney, bago ko lang ipasa kay partner Admar, nabanggit niyo po kasi yung possible scenario na mangyayari na mauulit yung ginawa nila dati na pinagdebatihan po nila, ibinalik po nila yung complaint sa Kamara. At sa puntong ito ngayon, possible na mangyari po yun ulit. Pero pwede bang gamitin po yung petition po ninyo na inihain dyan sa Kamara? Tatalakayin po nila sa Senado kahit pending yan sa Supreme Court, Attorney?
It is possible because they used it, the Senate used it as a reason during the first impeachment. Sabi nila may nakabinding kaso sa Korte Suprema, antayin natin ang magiging desisyon ng Korte Suprema. Especially nung nakadesisyon ng Korte Suprema. So, ang sa tingin kong mangyayari, the Senate will proceed unless the Supreme Court will issue an order against the impeachment. Pero sa correct na proseso, unless there is a restraining order or an injunction from the Supreme Court, the Senate will have to proceed. No, that is their duty under the Constitution. They will have to proceed. But once makialam ang Korte Suprema at sabihin, may mali sa proseso, I think the Senate will again vote among themselves whether to remand it back or not. Now, here is a possible constitutional crisis. Pag sinabi ng Korte Suprema, violative of the Constitution yung ginawa ng House sa proceeding nila. Pero yung Senado, boboto yung majority na hindi. Walang karapatan dito ang Korte Suprema na mahimasok. Kailangan ipagpatuloy namin to. If they will force the issue, then there will be a constitutional crisis.
Attorney Meng Aga, si Admar po ito. Clarify ko lang po yung inyo pong pananaw. Maaari din po bang tawagin pa or saklaw pa based doon sa naging desisyon ng Korte Suprema na forthwith kung aantayin muna ng Senado, hindi muna sila gagalaw at antayin muna yung magiging desisyon ng Korte Suprema para hindi aksaya din sa oras kung sila gagalaw tapos magkakaroon ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema?
They are not bound unless merong injunction yung Korte Suprema. So, at mas tama na ipagpatuloy nila sa opinion ko. The only thing that could stop them is kung may order ng Korte Suprema, nga restraining order or injunction. But there is, you must remember, what was enjoined was the House Committee on Justice. Tapos na. Tinapos na nila yung proceeding. So I doubt it if the Supreme Court will issue based on the petition nga final namin ni Attorney Torion. On the other hand, anything goes when you talk about the Supreme Court. They can also issue an order na tinatawag nating stay order. Oops, we want to decide on a very important constitutional issue, so we are ordering the Senate to put on hold the proceeding. Pwede rin gawin ng Korte Suprema kasi sasabihin rin ng Korte Suprema, we also have the power as derived from the Constitution. So, the Senate, meron ring direktiba sa Constitution na sila yung impeachment court. Yung Supreme Court naman, meron ring power from the Constitution na nagsasabi that they hold the judicial power to decide on constitutional issues. So, if the Senate would want to be guided by the Supreme Court, they will also honor the decision of the Supreme Court unless this becomes too political at yung majority ng mga senador sasabihin ayaw nating pakialaman tayo ng Korte Suprema kaya ituloy natin. Just like what was the position before, I believe, ni Senator Soto nung nagbigay siya ng kanyang opinion, it just so happens na yung opinion niya to proceed was outvoted. But this time around, hindi natin alam kung paano na yung boto when we talk about simple majority.
Attorney, bago pa ang pagtalakay ng articles of impeachment dyan po sa Senado, maaari bang questionin kung paano nabuo itong articles of impeachment na ito sa Kamara, dyan po sa impeachment court, kung ito ba'y naayon sa konstitusyon, bago pa man yung pagtalakay, paghimay mismo sa article of impeachment laban dito kay Vice President Sara Duterte?
They can. The senators can because they're acting as a court. Sasabihin nila, the complaint sent to us by the House is defective. They can even question the attached evidence. Sabihin nila, this was not the attached evidence in the original complaint, but this is evidence coming from the investigation covered by the House Committee on Justice. This is unconstitutional. They can. So, but on those issues, what is needed is only majority vote, not 2/3. But on process, the senators amongst themselves can vote on it, and what is required is just a majority vote.
Opo. Dito naman po sa issue, kasi alam natin, ang mga Duterte, lalo na yung mga nakalipas na administrasyon, sinuportahan po ng taong bayan dahil po sa kampanya kontra kriminalidad, kontra illegal na droga, kontra katiwalian. Ngayon po, binabaliktad po ng mga kritiko ni Vice President Sara Duterte itong mga tungkol sa krimen, pinapahid sa kanya. Meron daw krimeng ginawa, ini-involve sa minsan sa illegal na droga. No? Galing daw sa illegal na droga yung mga pera, may tinanggap daw. Pati yung issue din dito sa korupsyon. Pero sa tingin niyo po, mabuburo po ba sa taong bayan yung dahilan kung bakit sinuportahan nila ang mga Duterte sa pamamagitan nitong mga akusasyon laban sa pamilya?
Hindi natin maisasagot ito sa mga taong neutral o naghahanap pa kung sinong pambato nila bilang presidente, kasi they will be basing it on the news, on what they heard, or paano ikampanya ng mga kandidato ang kanilang sarili. Pero sa mga tinatawag nating DDS, Duterte diehard supporters, hindi ito makaka-apekto. Lalo nga tumitindi ang pagdepensa natin kay VP Sara na sinasabi na inaapi lang siya. At bakit yung pamantayan ng ebidensya na ginagamit ng Kamara laban kay VP Sara ay hindi ginagamit laban kay Pangulong Marcos. So, mas lalong madidivide ang bansa. Kasi kung may DDS, meron rin DDH, Duterte diehard haters, na merong mga sinasabing yellow, may pink, may mga progressive group, may mga red, may mga pro-Marcos. Pero alam rin natin, at gaya ko, nabibigla rin ako, yung meron ring traditional na pro-Marcos, pro-yellow, pro-pink, pro-progressive group, yun pala gustong kumampi kay VP Sara sa 2028. Kasi umiba yung kanilang isip. So, we have no control over the electorates. But yung critical ay yung mga hindi pa nakadesisyon. Of course, if they hear accusations against the VP and the VP does not explain with confidence yung kanyang depensa at general denial lang, makakaapekto yon. Hindi naman tayo dapat maging blind followers o blind supporters. But the impeachment proceeding in the Senate will be an opportunity for the VP to tell her side of the story. And not only that, granting wala na to ang for some reason hindi natuloy ang impeachment sa Senado kasi sumali ang Korte Suprema o yung mga senators, they send it back to the House. Kailangan pa rin ni VP for the purpose of the 2028 election, kasi sabi niya magkakandidato na siya, to explain to the public and answer point by point yung mga general accusations against her. She sometimes do it na sinasagot niya. So, it will be my advice to the VP na later on, whether hindi ito matuloy ang impeachment, kausapin niya ang mga kababayan niya at sabihin niya rin ang kanyang istorya at depensa laban sa akusasyon sa kanya na ipinalabas dito sa House of Representatives.
Opo. Dito naman po sa ibang issue po, attorney, dahil meron pong yung pinuno ng isang online news page, no, na PGMN ay naaresto di umano ng extort daw po ng pera. Napakabilis po ng Malacanang na kinonekta agad itong si Franco Mabanta sa mga Duterte. Ano po ang masasabi niyo po dito sa issue na ito? Kasi mismo mga netizen din ang nag-dispute doon sa naging pahayag ng palasyo, particular kay Undersecretary Claire Castro.
Sa mga abogado, alam natin yung tinatawag na instigation versus entrapment, no? Ito lang, at depende na to sa ebidensya. Yung kung sino yung nag-offer o unang nag-offer na magbabayad ng amount, in exchange na hindi lalabas ang news, ay doon nakadepende kung magiging instigation yung tawag sa nangyari or entrapment. So paano ito? Pag nanggaling sa kampo ni na former Speaker Martin Romualdez, no? Yung offer na without any demand from Mabanta, no? It will be called instigation. Pag nanggaling at the first instance, kung ma-prove rin yan ng respondent, no, o akusado na una siyang inoferan, pag na-prove na una siyang inoferan, it becomes an instigation. Bale yung parang yung otoridad, sila yung nag-offer. Sila yung unang nag-offer. If that happens, that is a very good defense for acquittal. Pero, on the other hand, kung mapapatunayan rin ng kampo ni na Speaker Romualdez o ng otoridad na yung unang nag-demand for money is yung respondent, it will be an entrapment because that is extortion. So, it now depends on the case facts. Yung sa nangyari, nakikita lang natin yung mga video. Those are videos on the actual operation. Pero for sure, meron ring activities, meron ring exchange of conversation before the actual operation. So, mahirap naman, hindi natin alam kasi through phone conversation o text messages, sa tingin ko, right now, as a trial lawyer, mahihirapan rin ang respondent to prove sino yung unang humingi. Pero kung ma-prove niya na based on example text messages na yung unang nag-offer para hindi nila ilabas yung news ay coming from the authorities or coming from the camp of the former speaker, they can prove instigation. So it's a law enforcement and a, let's say, prosecutorial and a judicial question of which a respondent or later on an accused will have the chance to defend himself. Regarding naman sa paggamit sa issue on the political side, that is expected. Masyado na pong mainit ang labanan ng opposition na sa side ng DDS kalaban rin sa mga kakampi ni Pangulong Marcos na sa side ng DBH. So, wag lang sana fake news, no? Kasi yung fake news walang honor diyan, yung deliberate telling of falsehood. We all know, no, na kung yung isang tao ay inimbita mo sa bahay mo, binigyan mo ng birthday party celebration, ibig sabihin malapit rin kayo. So hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na hindi sila magkakilala o acquaintance lang sila because you don't invite a stranger to your house to celebrate his birthday there. Yan po yung isang masasabi ko. And pictures taken na together yung mga tao, hindi naman automatic yun na close sila. Kasi sa mga politiko, gaya sa akin, maraming nagpapapicture sa nakasama ako, hindi ko naman maaalala. Pero if there are other evidence showing na hindi lang sa isang instance, but pangalawa, pangatlo, or many instances magkasama kayo, the presumption of closeness will become stronger.
Opo. Dito naman po sa issue ng pahayag na mayroong daw produce na video, no? Nabasa natin yung mismong post din nila na may ilalabas na video na naging subject nga rin daw doon sa kung bakit nangyari yung entrapment. Tingin nyo dapat itong ilabas? Kasi kung kumpiyansa sila na meron talagang mali or meron silang katibayan na merong maling ginawa ang dating speaker, bakit pa pinapatagal? Kabilang din po ba kayo sa nagko-question doon sa kanilang mga naging pahayag po, attorney?
Yung personal kong opinion, if there is such a video that exists at merong mga ebidensya laban sa kay dating Speaker Romualdez, no, dapat hindi na yan tinatago. Obligasyon yan ng lahat ng Pilipino na malaman at ihayag ang katotohanan. So, but they also have to be sure, especially, news outlet, no? News outlet. They have to be sure that it is backed up by evidence because naturally, yung magiging topic mo sa news can file cyber libel cases and libel cases against you. So dapat you really have to prove that that news is newsworthy and at the same time backed by real evidence, both testimonial and if better, may documentary. Because there will be consequence. Ang dami ng media and social media personalities na may mga kaso. Sana kayo dyan sa SMNI will not be a victim of these harassment cases, no? Whether or a real case na hindi naman harassment, it depends, no? Kasi meron rin naman protection ang media, no? May tinatawag tayong privileged communication. If the news was let out for the purpose of public service and not merely to ridicule or to put shame another person, that is a valid defense against libel and cyber libel. Malulusutan yan. At trabaho nyo yan. Whether the case is about extortion, granting may extortion talaga, the more important issue is the truth behind the story. So kung confident yung mga journalists at newsmakers sa kanilang istorya, and that will really affect the fight against corruption, dapat ilabas nila yan. For as long as they can prove na may basihan rin ang kanilang akusasyon.
Alright. Attorney, maraming salamat po sa inyong pong oras at sa ulitin po.
Mabuhay po kayo, Jade and Admar at SMNI. Mabuhay po ang bansang Pilipinas. Kapit lang po tayo. The presidency is by destiny. Kung destiny ni VP Sara maging presidente, malulusutan niya ang impeachment at malulusutan niya ang problema sa vote counting machine. Salamat po.
Thank you po, Attorney. Mga kababayan, si Attorney J.D. Hinlo, Deputy Secretary General for Visayas ng PDP. Laban ang ating nakasama, napakinggan, kaugnay nga dito sa issue ng impeachment ni Vice President Sara Duterte at ang pag-aresto kay Franco Mabanta.